Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yugioh Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! VRains episode review. This time we will be reviewing episode 112, the very beginning of the Soulburner and Roboppi duel. I do apologize for this review being a bit late. A Wednesday afternoon, another huge storm hit New Jersey, knocked out the power, the electricity, the internet was out until late Wednesday night, and I got a little lazy. I was like, well, I'll record it Thursday morning, I'm not going to upload it at midnight anyway, and then I completely forgot that on Thursday I had plans going on, so I didn't have any time to record Thursday during the day, so that is why this episode review was a couple of days past due. Normally I do like to upload on Wednesdays, so I've been very excited to hear from all of you guys regarding this episode, and I've been excited to give my thoughts as well. Generally speaking, liked the episode a lot. I thought it was a very important episode for Yu-Gi-Oh! VRains, because for the last couple of months, we've all been able to figure out that I was going to take over Soltech, right? He was going to get the key from Akira. Unfortunately, there was a lot of death along the way. Again, that's kind of been synonymous with VRains. Whenever characters are dueling, if they lose, they die. I mean, we've had characters like Emma die 3 times now, I believe it is. We've had, well, Aoi Zazen was spared, but Akira has died 3 different times. So, like, we've had a lot of death, and a lot of repetitive death in Yu-Gi-Oh! VRains. But finally, we were past that, and we got back to that unpredictability-ness in the sense of what is Ai going to do now that he has taken over Soltech, what is going to happen to the big hitters, because we've yet to see any of the heavy hitters duel. Soulburner, Revolver, Playmaker, we've yet to see them duel, so how are those duels going to play out? A little more unpredictable going forward. And the episode begins with Kusanagi. We got the truck scene where Kusanagi is driving. The truck scene from the opening where Kusanagi is angrily driving down the parkway at night. We got him, Soulburner, Homura, and Yusaku all visiting Aoi's Eyes and visiting Akira in the hospital. They share a little bit of a heart-to-heart, a very brief moment where Yusaku basically says exactly what Aoi said to him when the fight first started. Remember, before they went into the fight against Ai and Roboppi, Aoi said to Yusaku on the bench, "Don't fight with us. Like, you've done so much to help us. I know this is very stressful. Please do not come into the VRains." Almost like pleading with him to stay away. Of course, Yusaku ends up going in anyway. But now Yusaku flips it and says, look, you need to stay by Akira. You've suffered a great loss. We will handle things from here on out. We will go after Ai. And basically says to Aoi exactly what she said to him at the very beginning of the season. So I liked the parallel there. Of course, I don't like it from the perspective that Aoi might be out of the picture for the time being. So even though she wasn't killed off, she's basically not going to be doing much. Now, that hopefully will not be the case. Hopefully, Aoi Zazen will have a role in maybe 2 or 3 months, about 10 to 12 episodes, but we're just going to have to wait and see with her. So at least she's alive, and she is hanging out by Akira, even though Akira, of course, is out of commission. What was really interesting about this episode was obviously the beginning of the duel, Roboppi getting his own country, and of course the dialogue between Ai and Roboppi. Roboppi having the dream, and Roboppi calling Ai a dirty old man. Highlights of the season so far, but it was so interesting to me because Ai is hyping up Roboppi, that Roboppi is going to be this amazing, strong character, this strong duelist that's going to conquer the universe, and he says, you know what, I'm going to give you your own country. Gives Roboppi a country full of appliances, sends Roboppi along his way and says, you have to defend this country. And the second Roboppi leaves the ship, Ai gets very serious and somber after joking around with Roboppi for the past few minutes and goes, goodbye, Roboppi. And how similar, I could not have been the only one that got these same exact vibes from when Lightning basically sacrificed Haru to Blue Maiden, basically used Haru as a sacrificial lamb. The only difference is Haru going into that duel knew from Bowman and Lightning that he didn't really have much of a chance. In this instance, Roboppi gets gassed up by Ai, and Ai is complimenting him, and I honestly thought it was kind of sweet. Like, Ai knows that Roboppi is probably not going to defeat Soulburner or Playmaker or Revolver, any of those 3, and yet Ai is still praising him, and that's how you should do it. Of course, it's still the same end result, basically sending someone to their death, and that's what Ai is assuming he's doing by giving Roboppi this country, by telling Roboppi to leave and defend the country, by saying, yeah, you're going to be amazing, but knowing deep down that Roboppi probably is going to lose and probably is going to be killed off for that reason. Ai gets very serious and says, goodbye, Roboppi. Thought that was extremely interesting. And maybe he didn't mean it in the sense of goodbye forever. That's just the vibe that I got, especially given the context and the emotion of that scene, how it was very happy and uplifting. And then the second Roboppi leaves, it's almost like Ai is back down to reality and knows that that's probably the last time he will ever speak to Roboppi. Of course, maybe there will be an upset. Maybe Roboppi will beat Soulburner. I will say that it's also very interesting and awesome that I gave Roboppi something to protect. The whole theme of this season has been failing to protect what you love. And in the last duel, I dueled, obviously, Akira and Aoi, and wanted Aoi to win. I really do believe that he wanted the Zaizens to defeat him, to maybe prove to him that sometimes love and fighting for others does work out. Because remember, Pandora said there was no ill intention when I was like, show me more of this sibling love, this sibling bond. And Aoi thought, oh, you're making fun of me. And Pandora said, no, he's not. There's no malintent there. I think I truly wants to see someone defend what they love and almost prove to him that you can fight and you can be successful for the people and the things that you love. And so what did I give Roboppi? I gave Roboppi something to fight for. I gave Roboppi something to defend. A country of appliances. And I know it's gimmicky, I know it's corny and silly, but it makes sense. Roboppi himself is an appliance, and you have all these appliances who are happy, who are dancing. It was actually a pretty cute and fun scene when you don't think of the context behind it, because remember, Roboppi wants to exterminate the human race. And if Roboppi is saying, I want to give you all the intelligence that I have, all these appliances that are all fun and innocent and happy, they are going to have the same motives as Roboppi, which are, once again, to destroy the human race. So it's nice and cute and innocent at first glance, but when you really start to peel away the layers, it honestly becomes a much more creepy and disturbing scene. The appliances all get scared off, they all run away, and then Soulburner steps in. And I can't be the only one who got Sora and Shun vibes from this duel. Of course, we know way more about these characters than we truly knew about Sora and Shun going into that duel in Arc 5. But very similar, and maybe it's because they all look the same. They all start to look the same after a while. Maybe it's because Sora and Roboppi look very similar, and Soulburner and Shun have that same fiery passion of dueling, and they're the good guys in this sense, and the whole land is very colorful. And based on the preview, Roboppi looks like he's sporting some wicked smiles, and it looks like he's maybe going to get a little more unhinged as this duel goes on, very similarly to what happened with Sora and Shun. And I just wonder if this duel, looking back on it, is actually going to be at the level of Sora and Shun. Of course, that's asking for a lot. That duel was incredible. I also just wonder if there is an upset on the cards, because if Soulburner wins, Soulburner was also hesitant in dueling Roboppi. I don't think Soulburner necessarily wanted to duel Roboppi, but it was more of a sense of, okay, if you win, you have to tell me where I is. Very similarly to how when Shun won, I think it was Yugioh who broke into Sora's hospital room, and Yugioh interrogated Sora about where Ruri was. So in that duel, Shun had a reason to beat Sora. He wanted to find out where his sister was, much like how Soulburner wants to find out where I was. So I thought there were parallels there that were really interesting. Also, the colorful city that they dueled in, of course, Sora and Shun dueling in Heartland in Arc 5, and now Roboppi and Soulburner dueling in the field spell that Roboppi used, like Appliance Land. I forget the name of it. Also, turning Link VRains into Island, this fun area. The one thing that I didn't love about the episode, although I shouldn't say I didn't love about it, because I'm sure we're going to get it, it's actually not a negative about the episode in particular. I was personally expecting to learn a little bit more about Ai's plans and motivations, especially now that he had both keys. They're still holding that information hostage from us. We still don't know Ai's true motivations, and I'm sure it's going to come. So that was something that kind of disappointed me about the episode, because I really thought we were going to get it. It was a plot episode. Ai finally took over Soul Tech, but we didn't really get much of that. The Soltis androids that are controlling Soul Technologies are terrifying. It's almost like a preview of what the world could very well look like in 15, 20 years, especially factories and factory workers and truck drivers. That was almost foreshadowing what real life is going to look like. So that was terrifying. When I was merging the two keys together, the one from Queen and the one from Akira, it looked, I saw a lot of people pointing out on Twitter, it looked like Doctor Strange continuing the the Yugioh VRains and Marvel references. I really got to make a video on it, because there have been I don't know if it's intentional or not, but there have been so many references like this to the Marvel Universe, to Boban and Thanos. Like, there's just so many connections. There's so many references. And again, maybe it's not intentional, but it's hilarious nonetheless. And so I thought that was a pretty cool visual. And other than that, the Revolver and Pandor scene, want to touch on that really quickly. Revolver said to Pandor that thinking about the future for yourself is what gives meaning to those who have free will. And so Pandor has to figure out why I kept her alive, or whether I actually did keep her alive or not, or whether it was a coincidence. Pandor wanted Revolver's intellectual take on that, but Revolver really wouldn't give it to her and said, you have to figure it out on your own. So Revolver's still very, very confident in his abilities to create an AI with free will that is not going to turn on humans. I still am of the belief that something bad is going to happen with Pandor, but we will see. Maybe nothing will come of it. Revolver at least doesn't think so. If Revolver thought Pandor was any sort of threat, Revolver probably would have eliminated Pandor right then and there. So we'll see. I mean, Pandor knew that lightning was going to be a threat. He knew that the Ignis as a whole were going to be a threat because of lightning. So Revolver, I'm sure, has run extensive tests on Pandor, and he believes in it, and Revolver hasn't really gone wrong too much in that sense thus far, so we are just going to have to wait and see, but I thought that was an interesting scene as well. But guys, let me know all your thoughts on episode 112 down below. We have the summary for 113, we should have the summary for 114 on August 6th, and we should have the batch of summaries on August 8th, so for those of you that enjoy summaries, we should get those very soon, within the week. A special thank you to my Platinum tier patrons, Alexa Baker, Glen McGookin, Jorge Carrillo, James Rose, Samuel Stark, Thomas Adderley, Horace Maye, Goosey Q, Vincent Van Der Veen, FrostReaper, RedEye, Jordan Osceola, and Smith620, and to my Diamond tier patrons Jesse Wood and Garrett Palmer, and to my Egyptian God tier patrons Syn Cloud, Joss Rivers, Matthew Kennedy ×2, and Chris Swan. A huge thank you to everyone who supports me over on Patreon, and a huge thank you to everyone who's a YouTube channel member. I cannot tell you how much it helps myself and the channel out, and a huge thank you to everyone who just watches these videos, because without you guys, I would not be able to do this. I will talk to you all things Yu-Gi-Oh! VRains down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day.